Hi there. I brought you a new art project today. But before I show it to you, I want to review what we did last time. So remember we painted some rocks, or you had your parents paint some rocks white for you, and then we used crayon and marker to decorate them. And these are some examples. And then we also did the same thing with a stick, but the stick had no bark on it. We didn't have to paint it white. The other thing I showed you were the kintsugi eggshells. These were done with watercolor, and then I put a clear coating over top of them. So if you have watercolor, that's a fun project to do. Today, we're going to make something that the Native Americans used in their houses, and they would hang a dream catcher over the baby's cradle or a young child's bedding, and the dream catcher was meant to catch bad dreams. So it looks a little bit like a spider web. They used willow, which is a soft kind of tree limb, to twist into these circles, and then they wove it, and then they would hang things like feathers and beads, and they looked really pretty. So if you made one of these, this would be a fun thing to hang in your room. And I put some little seedlings in here and pine cones and some bells, but if you have beads or feathers, you could hang those. So that's the dream catcher, and I'll show you how we make it. So I got some English ivy from my yard, which is very soft and it's easy to twist. So I'm going to show you how I started. I have two pieces here, and I'm going to, because I want it to get a little stronger, I'm going to twist them together first. And then I'm going to join them into a circle. And then tuck this inside. I'm going to add one more piece of vine to make it a little stronger. And you can take the leaves off. I just left it on so you could identify the plant. And you just keep twisting, and you can add more and more pieces on, and it'll get stronger. Now with the ivy, you have to let it dry for a few days before it's strong. It gets a little harder, and then you'll be able to do the rest of the dream catcher. I also went out and got a fresh stick, which I cut from a tree in my yard. And this one, I'm going to bend. Hope that it doesn't break. Sometimes they break, but if they're really fresh or if they're really wet, then they're more flexible. And this one I'm going to use masking tape. And then just like with the ivy, you can tuck or twist the soft branches around. So that's the other version. Now, here's some that are dried, and they're made with a vine that I found in the yard. It wasn't ivy, but it was like ivy. And then we get to the fun part. You can weave using whatever you have in your house. This one is yarn, some string, and this one is ribbon, which I think looks pretty cool. So this one is made with a tree branch. I tie on a piece of yarn or string to one end, and then I go to start it. Wrap it around. I'm going to go through this hole here so it stays, and I'm going to pull it really tight each time I'm pulling it through the hole, and that makes it nice and tight, and it'll stay in place. Go through one more time here. Okay, so that's the framework. You don't have to do it this way, it's just the way I've figured out that works pretty well for me. And then, this is the fun part. You can wrap the yarn any way you want once you have that little framework made. And if you pull really tight, it stays well. Look at that. What do you see there? A star. Isn't that cool? So you can keep on going. You can add on other pieces of yarn. It doesn't all have to be one color, or you can use string. And the finished product. Have fun and make sure you send me some pictures.